Cold Walls, Warm Fire, Chapter 1. Cracked Paint, Cracked Pride. Angela Morrow had always believed in the promise of the American city. She'd moved to Greenwood, Ohio, a faded industrial town with red brick buildings and ghostly smokestacks, for a new start. A nurse practitioner, widowed in her early 30s. She wanted somewhere quiet to raise her 10-year-old daughter, Zuri. They landed in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in a rundown building owned by one of the town's old families, the Wilkersons. From day one, the signs were clear. The white tenants upstairs had working heat in the winter. Angela didn't, she called. She emailed. She visited the rental office. "You people are always complaining," muttered old man Wilkerson the third time she came in, clutching her daughter's asthma inhaler. "Why don't you try being grateful for what you've got?" She knew what he meant. Angela was used to the coded language of America. Chapter 2. Winter comes early by November. The cold was cruel. Angela wrapped Zuri in 3 layers before bed, placing hot water bottles under her sheets like they were soldiers standing guard. She kept the oven open for heat, an old trick from her grandmother in Alabama. But Zuri's asthma flared anyway. Angela called the city inspector. They never came. She filed an official complaint. Nothing moved. She began documenting everything: photos, recordings, logs of every time she called Wilkerson or city services. The more she pushed, the more obvious the retaliation. The water was shut off for a week for repairs. Her mailbox was mysteriously vandalized. A citation appeared on her door about noise violations, even though they lived in silence most nights. Reading by candlelight to save on the energy bill still. She did not leave still. She did not stop. Chapter 3. The Freeze, January 3 RD. The polar vortex hit. The temperature outside dropped to 9 F. Inside, the thermometer in Angela's living room read 38 F. She sent photos and a final message to Wilkerson. "If something happens to my child, the blood is on your hands." She didn't sleep that night at 20 A.M. Zuri's breathing went ragged. Angela rushed her to the hospital. Her lungs were inflamed. The doctor, a black woman from Detroit, looked Angela in the eye and said, "File a case. Don't just complain." Force their hand. Angela did more than that. Chapter 4. Firestorm. She uploaded her story to TikTok. A tearful video, no makeup, no filters, just her, and a quilt wrapped Zuri in a hospital bed. She named Wilkerson. She showed the photos, the temperature, the emails. The asthma machine. It went viral. 24 hours later, a local activist group showed up at the building with space heaters, blankets, and signs. 72 hours later, CNN called. 5 days later, a civil rights lawyer named Jeremy Linwood, who'd won a landmark housing discrimination case in Chicago, flew to Greenwood pro bono. Angela filed a lawsuit. Chapter 5. The courtroom and the coal in court. Wilkerson was smug at first. He had a gray wool coat and a face like crumbling brick. He grumbled about slander, media hysteria, and manufactured outrage. Angela sat in a navy suit from Goodwill, hair in a bun, eyes sharp like winter glass. Her lawyer laid out the evidence. Video, logs, medical records, the city's inaction. The building's history. 6 prior black tenants had complained about heat issues. No white tenant ever had. Then came the moment Angela stood up. She didn't need to, but she did anyway. She told the judge, "My daughter almost died because someone decided we weren't worth warmth. Not just heat. Worth warmth." The room went silent. Even Wilkerson's smirk froze. The judge ruled in her favor. Maximum penalty. Wilkerson had to pay $250,000 in damages. The building had to be brought to code within 60 days, or it would be seized by the city. But the story didn't end there. Chapter 6. Heat rises. Angela took part of her settlement and founded Warm Front, a nonprofit that installs emergency heating systems for low-income families of color across the Midwest. She trained as a housing advocate. She testified before Congress. And she bought a house. A small one with a garden and a fireplace Zuri recovered. She started a school podcast called Voices from the Radiator sometimes. At night, Angela still thinks about that freezing apartment and how silence had nearly swallowed her. But then she remembers the fire in her had never gone out.